So I started a business 7 years ago, and it was so successful that I wanted to expand the business. And a best friend and business partner invested in my business. And that second business financially has failed. And I feel such tremendous pressure because of all of the weight and pressure I've given to her life. And I'm trying to come out of it, but I constantly feel her disappointment and her sadness and her stress and her pressure.
Then you can't get out of it.
And then I feel guilty for feeling okay.
You can't get to where you want to be from there.
Right.
Next.
I need guidance.
Well, the guidance is you got to feel different. And the guidance is you can't feel different while you're looking right at that. But you're sort of inclined to look at that. And we spend all day, every day, and all the words that we offer, wanting you to realize that you don't have to look at that. And so that doesn't have to control the way you feel. But when that's what your habit of thought is, then there's a momentum going there. And so you've got enough momentum because you're human, and most people are focusing upon what is right now, and the entirety of your vibrational attitude about this is based upon what you're looking right at, compounded by somebody else who's looking at it too. So what this scenario says to us, the way you explained it was really helpful, is that when you were standing in your own vibration, that you were more in sync with your desire. There was less resistance within you. And it's because what you would call the risks were all yours, and you weren't that worried about it. And it started small and it grew larger and larger. You didn't get your business bigger than your business. And so it was more of a joyful journey. And then when it got bigger, because there wasn't enough momentum in the vibration of it to attract the partner that was equivalent to yours, you attracted someone who introduced resistance where it hadn't been before, because there was more risk, because it was that person's money. And so as that person felt more risk, then that person offered influence that you fell under. Now, you didn't need to, and it doesn't matter that you did, but it does matter that you don't continue to be under that influence. You got to get out from under that influence, and you can't get out from under it by wishing that it hadn't happened, because it has. The laws of the universe aren't going to change or adjust themselves to the outcome that you want. The laws of the universe are going to work the way the laws of the universe work, and you have to work within those, which means you have to get out from under the influence of worry and maybe even blame and certainly guilt, and get back under the influence of exhilaration about your business. If it worked once, it can work again. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for something to be viable and successful in one regard and then not in another. And it's because there are other factors that are part of the equation that you must understand what they are. Whether it's been the influence of success is the dominant influence, or the influence of worry are the dominant influence. So what are you going to do? What do you do when you're standing right in the middle of it? Wouldn't it be nice to start all over again, because then you know better? Well, here's the truth of it all. You are always starting all over again. In every moment, you are new unto the universe. In every moment, you can establish a new point of attraction. You could meditate and clear your vibration and be new like you were in the very first place. But most humans don't do that. It's like our friend said, you get new and then you get old again. You get new, you get forward looking, and then you get past looking.
I feel guilty for doing what you're saying. That's what I feel, and my business partner would never intentionally want to make me feel that way.
Well, stop
That's what
saying
happens.
that. Just saying that to us. We're just going to read this clearly, and we want to really give you something, because everybody relates to it in one way or another. But we really want you to hear this. You stated that with such fervor and factualness. I feel guilty. Almost as if you were making an unequivocal statement that the universe needed to adjust to. And the universe is responding to that. So a better statement would be, I feel guilty and I don't mean to. And I feel guilty and I want to let that go. And I feel guilty and I know the disadvantage of feeling guilty. And I feel guilty because it is my old habit. And I feel guilty, but I can produce new habits. And I feel guilty, but guilt is not natural to me. And I know that what guilt is my opinion is different than the opinion of my inner being. I know that my inner being's lined up with the success of my business, and I'm lined up with the worry of my business. And so this guilt doesn't feel good to me. me. I feel guidance. I don't feel guilty. I feel guidance. I feel guidance that this thought is not helping. In fact, I feel so much guidance that this thought isn't helping that I'm not going to think that thought as much anymore. Oh, well, maybe I will, but I don't want to. Well, at least I'm not going to speak about it. Well, maybe I will if there's enough momentum. But I'm going to look for moments when I'm not flowing that way. In fact, I'm going to focus upon some other things. I'm going to find satisfaction in other areas of my life. I'm going to look for so many things to feel satisfied about that this guilty subject just doesn't have enough airtime within me. I'm not going to let myself feel guilty as much as I've been feeling guilty. It's sort of my propensity to feel guilty. I sort of wear the badge of honor about how guilty I feel. I've been a sort of sacrificial person, and feeling guilty somehow has been working for me out there in the physical, mundane, mediocre, failing world. But I realize that now I'm playing in a different game. I've got success going for me. And so I feel guilty about feeling guilty is because your guidance lets you know that feeling guilty is not productive. So you don't feel guilty about your guilt. You feel aware that it isn't helping. You don't feel guilty about your guilt. You feel aware that you're not moving in the direction of your desire, that you're not in sync with your desire, that you're out there on the raw and ragged edge, and that you're not allowing the influence of source energy to affect you in that moment. That's all. That's all.
So what happens when you can't pay your bills and creditors are calling and there are all these things that are happening?
Do you see what you're doing? Do you see what you're doing? You are trying to support the guilt that you feel.
Well, no, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to say that I know I meditate every morning. Thank you very much.
Blah, blah, blah.
All
blah,
of this.
blah, blah. You keep talking about what you do not want, and you can't get around that. You got to stop doing that. So what happens when I can't pay my bills, you say? We say, first of all, don't talk about it. So I've got this reality, Abraham, that I have to face. I have to face this reality. This is a reality that I am facing. And we say, yeah, we know that. But you could, you're not even trying yet, you could find a different vibration about it. Try right now, if you can. Ask the question, and then you answer it.
How do I not carry the
weight?
No,
No, that's not the question. The question is, what do I do when I can't pay my bills? That was the question.
What do I do when I can't pay my bills?
Now answer it.
Pay what I can.
Keep trying.
Work harder. That's been what I've been doing, though.
That's all right, but keep trying. You're under the influence of that, so that's all right. What do I do when I can't pay my bills? Just hear this. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? If you can't pay your bills, what are you going to do? You're going to not pay your bills, and you're going to have a choice about how you feel about that. So you can not pay them, and you can blame her, you can blame you can blame whatever you want to blame and get nowhere. Or you can not pay your bills, and you can remember better times, or you can lean toward things getting better. You can't control the current reality because the current reality had momentum coming in. It had momentum coming in, and it is what it is. So you can't control what that is, but you can control, or let's say curb, your response to what is. So I can't pay my bills, but I could meditate. I'm too worried to meditate. I can't clear my mind. I need to work harder instead of meditate. Just keep perpetuating that. But I can't pay my bills, but I can find satisfaction. I can't pay my bills, but I really appreciate this girl that came to play with me. I can't pay my bills. Now, it's even better if you get off that subject altogether. There's this subject that has me worried, and there's all these wonderful things. I can go to Asheville. I can spend some time with fun people. I can, against all odds, get in the hot seat and have a conversation with infinite intelligence. I can find the vibration of it. I can acknowledge the reality of the vortex. I can acknowledge that my business, our business, because our business is bigger than it has ever been because the contrast has made it bigger. And I can acknowledge that when I line up with what it is, it will be more than it has ever been, which was the whole point of the expansion that I asked for. I wasn't wrong to ask for expansion in the way that I did because expansion was inevitable. I asked for expansion, and I got expansion in that we spread out a little bit, but I also got expansion in that it introduced resistance into my equation that caused me to launch more rockets of desire, and my vortex version of my business is expanded, and that's a good thing, not a bad thing. And I can catch up with that. And it doesn't really matter what's going on right now. I'm stable enough. I know what to do. We can work hard enough to keep ourselves stable. We don't have to lose this business. I know what to do. I know what to do, but at the same time that I am working maybe longer and harder and with more clarity, I'm also finding vibrational stability with this bigger business. I can't give up on my dream, but I could give up resistance. We're not asking you to give up your business. We're asking you to give up your resistance. We're asking you to give up your propensity to complain about it or to try to justify where you are by talking about what's going wrong. You see? Everybody, relative to everything that they have, is in a place where it is improving. And it doesn't matter how successful you feel that you are. You could mess it up with a thought or you could enhance it with a thought. Doesn't matter whether you're a billionaire or a millionaire or whether you're just starting with a fledgling business or whether you're talking about a relationship or anything else. It could get bigger. It already is bigger. You could lean toward the bigness of it or you could lean away from it. You get to choose all of that. And the reason we're talking so strong with you is because, first of all, you represent everybody else because everybody's doing a little bit of that, but you have a propensity to want to explain it like it is. That's what's going on with you right now. And there's enough about what is that is satisfying. If you got to explain it like it is, then at least look for the things that are satisfying as you explain them. You hear all of this, aren't you?
Yes.
So the universe won't let you down, and your inner being has your back, and your inner being knows what you want, and your inner being knows how to get you from where you are to where you want to be. But you've got to listen or feel for the impulses, and you can't get there while you're talking about what is. And it's not because Source isn't telling you. We're speaking to you as directly and as loudly as is appropriate under these conditions, and you still can't actually hear us, not quite yet. But it isn't because we're not giving it everything we've got, and it isn't because we don't know about the absolute success and magnitude of your business. It's because you've got yourself in a vibrational place that is temporary. And every day from this moment forward, you're going to release more of that and allow more of this. It's just the way that it all works. And there's going to be a time, not very far from now, that you are going to enjoy or feel satisfaction over the desire that's in your belly, even when it hasn't manifested. Most people have a hard time with that at first because you want to see it and then you want to have an emotional response to it. We want you to use your mind to accomplish an emotional response of satisfaction, and then you'll see it. And we never say anything that we don't know to be. We're not pretending that there's something there for you. We know that there is. It's yours to allow or to disallow. And when you disallow it, you see, all that guilt and all that pain and all that discomfort that you were explaining to us isn't about the actual business itself. It's about you pinching yourself off from your own desire. Now we're going to give you the most important statement of the entire weekend. Ready for it? You are the creation, not your business.
Yeah.
You're creating yourself to be the receiver. The business is just the excuse you use to create you. And that's why it's so upsetting when it feels like it's not working. It feels like you're failing. And you're not. You're just step one-ing a little longer than is comfortable. That's all. That's all that it is. And can you imagine the euphoria you feel when you meditate and release that for a moment, even before the business changes at all? You're going to have lots of really good feeling moments, and nothing is going to be visible to you yet because it's on its way down. But when you realize that you're the creation, then the moments that you feel good for me. And someone says, oh, you make a bunch of money today? No, I just feel good. Why? Because I aligned with source energy. What good is that? It's everything. It's everything, because my connection to source energy is the propagation, the creation, the allowance of me. I'm the creator of a business. The business is irrelevant. I'm the creator of the creation. I'm the creator of the creation. I'm the creator and I'm the creation. And the business is just something I focus upon.